Welcome back to Refit and So. My name's George Isted. This is not a Contessa. This is my own boat, commonly referred to as the floating bungalow. I occasionally race it, but mostly it is a cruising boat. And as you can see, I am not connected to the land. It is a beautiful, beautiful day. I'm currently in Newtown Creak. I sailed here yesterday. I needed a few days off the tools to take a break. I've had very, very few holidays this year. And I didn't do much filming yesterday, although I did produce a little short, which I put up, you may have seen. But today I'm going to do a sail to take me to the west. I'm going to sail from Newtown out of the Solent through the Needles Channel and around to Studland Bay, where I'm going to drop the hook or pick up a buoy, because there are some buoys there now, I believe, and spend the night there and then sail back to the Hamble tomorrow. Here's a quick look at Newtown Creak. So looking north, there is the entrance. It's an absolutely stunning day. When I came in here yesterday, there were very few boats here, but there's a few that turned up during the day. It was kind of cloudy and not particularly pleasant yesterday. There wasn't a lot of sun, but I had a really cracking sail. Nice fresh breeze today. It's about 15, gusting 20 knots. That's looking up the creek there. I think is a rival 40 that came in yesterday afternoon. And if you carry on up the creek up there, you can go all the way up to Shelfleet, and then you can have a walk, and then there's a shop and a couple of pubs which are worth visiting. You can also go ashore on that landing stage there if you fancy a slightly longer walk. There is a beach near the entrance over there that you can land on, and you can have a barbecue there, or just dig holes with your kids or whatever you want to do. On the other side, that is a bird sanctuary. So all of that area over there, that low-lying land there, and over there, it's all bird sanctuary, so you're not really supposed to go ashore. And there are some seals that live here as well. I haven't seen them today, but I'm not going to say exactly where they live on the video because I don't want people bothering them. But if you come to Newtown, there is a pretty good chance, if you keep your eyes peeled, you will see seals swimming around and fishing and generally doing whatever it is that seals do. Anyway, I need to make a coffee and then think about making my way out the entrance over there and turning left, and it's going to be a nice fresh beat to windward up to Studland. Here's Newtown River, or Newtown Creek as it's often called. It's a really, really lovely place to stay. In the summer it gets ridiculously busy. You can anchor, there are a whole bunch of buoys that you can pick up as well. I actually initially anchored yesterday, but I didn't really fancy my spot. I wanted to be anchored where someone else already had dropped their hook. So because there was quite a lot of wind forecast for last night, I decided to pick up one of the visitors' buoys. But anyway, I can easily drop that. And when I leave, I'll be making my way out through the narrow entrance there. It feels like you are driving like right past the beach, but it's very, very deep in the entrance because the water pours in and pours out of the entrance, and you could throw a stone and it would land on the beach on either side. But anyway, we will go out the entrance and then hang a left. Now I'm leaving with the tide slightly against where I want to go. It's going to be east going initially, but it's just on the change, so by the time I get down to Hurst Narrows, which is this bit here, and the Needles Channel, the tide will start running in my favour. So this is a real tidal gate. This piece of water here is very, very narrow. An awful lot of water pours in and pours out, so you kind of have to make your timings for departure or arrival into the Solent through the Hurst Narrows with the tide with you. I have, when racing, had to beat in to the Solent with the tide pouring out, and you know, I had the boat absolutely flat out going as fast as it possibly could, and you'd just be sat there stemming the tide and crawling your way into the Solent. You know, you'd be doing 6 knots and there'll be 5.5 knots of tide coming out, and it really is quite hard work and quite demoralising. But we will be coming out of there. I say we, me and the boat, because I'm single-handed. Rather than going out the main Needles Channel, which is that bit, I'm going to be going to the north of the Shingles Channel. It's called the North Passage. And then going to be sailing across Christchurch Bay, past Hengersbury Head, and then past Bournemouth, over towards Poole, and my plan is to anchor in this bay here. Studland Bay, it's really well known in these parts. It's a lovely bay. It's a perfect anchorage if you've had something around your prop or some other issue, because you can easily sail into the bay and drop your anchor. I have had to do that and then go for a dive and clear my prop before now. Great natural harbour, a bit like Poole is a fantastic natural harbour as well, but getting in the entrance to Poole can be under sail a bit tricky, because again the tide pours in and pours out of a very, very narrow entrance, and to add to that there's a chain ferry that goes across the entrance there as well, so you need to time your entry to not impede the movement of the chain ferry. Some boaters do unfortunately get that wrong and have got stuck against the chain ferry as it goes across. I'm going to be either picking up a buoy or dropping the anchor in Studland Bay. They've introduced some buoys here. There's a voluntary no anchoring zone because there is an eelgrass habitat here for seahorses, and there is a bit of a ongoing discussion, some controversy about whether anchoring damages the eelgrass beds or not, but I will either be picking up one of those buoys or dropping an anchor outside the voluntary no anchor zone. Anyway, that is the kettle boiling. You can probably hear it on the microphone. I'm going to go and make myself coffee, stick it in a flask and get underway. Well, my friends, that is the way the reefing works. It's a beautiful sunny day out here, absolutely stunning. I came out, had 2 reefs in the main. I thought, well, I'll leave them both in because it's forecast to be moderately breezy today, and I'll just go full Genoa and 2 reefs, and I can easily knock a reef out if I need to once I get out of the Solent. And then I went, oh, I'm going slowly, I'll take the reef out, and did that, and we're going along nicely. And of course the wind's now starting to pick up, so it might be I have to chuck that reef back in when I get outside Hurst, but we'll see what happens. At the moment it's just a nice sort of 12 to 14 knots, which is very, very comfortable with 1 reef and full Genoa, but I like having the Genoa fully out if I can, because as soon as you part roll a Genoa, you just lose so much shape out of it in terms of pointing to windward, and I am beating, so I really don't want to furl the Genoa. I really don't like furling the Genoa if possible. I always reef the main very much earlier than furling the Genoa for that reason. Well, there's Hurst Castle and the lighthouse on it. I've had to do quite a bit of short tacking coming up this last little bit of the Solent here. It's Yarmouth over there, and if I spin back round you can see Needles just in the distance over there. I think I'm going to still go out North Channel, as much as it's tempting to go out the Needles Channel and take some pretty pictures of the Needles. I'm going to stick with the North Channel, so there's a shallow patch off the end of Hurst which I need to go around, and then I'll be able to tack back onto port and head a bit more kind of northwesterly. And I'm a bit out of breath because I've done so much tacking. Right, there's a fishing boat kind of bearing down on me there, so as much as he's not actively fishing, sometimes fishing men get a little bit shouty and anxious because they seem to think they own the whole seaway sometimes. So I'm going to put the camera down, concentrate on when I need to tack. I am aware I'm going the wrong side of that buoy. That is because I know there's enough water between that buoy and the bank. So I'm all good. That's Hurst Narrows. Across to the fort the other side. Big gin palace going in. There's a boat up ahead over there that's kind of motoring with his main up. And he's not actually going any faster than me. He's probably having an easier time of it, but can't quite enjoy a nice beat. But he's obviously not enjoying a beat, and so sitting with his motor on, with his main up, just letting his main flog itself to death. And he's not really getting away from me because he's tacking upwind with his main up and his engine on, so go figure. Well, as you can see, I put the spray hood up a little bit earlier because there was some wet stuff coming over the side, which I didn't fancy. Over there is sandbanks, there's the entrance to pool, and about probably 15 minutes away now, it's about 1.5 to 2 miles, there is Studland Bay, and just to the left you can see Swanage. Try and zoom in a little bit, see the white cliffs over there just before you get round to Swanage Bay. It's been a wonderful sail. It's been really, really lovely. No two ways about it. A bit of sunshine, nice breeze. Back there you can see that little white speck is the Needles. There's a few boats around that have been doing exactly the same as me, enjoying a beat to windward. So just coming into Studland Bay, just dropped the Genoa down, the main down, sorry, rolled up the Genoa and dropped the main. My awesome girlfriend is over there in a rib. I think she's spotted a buoy that might be suitable. So full steam ahead, pick up a buoy and put the kettle on. Well folks, here is beautiful Studland Bay. I have been coming here for years and years and years. It's a really handy little stop off if you're heading west from the Solent, because you can have a nice sail here, stop overnight or wait for a tide, and then kind of get up the next day and carry on round the corner. There's a few boats in here. That boat over there with the blue stripe, that's the one that I mentioned earlier that was motoring with its main up. So I've been here probably getting on for nearly an hour, maybe 3/4 of an hour, and they have just picked up that buoy over there. So motoring to windward, it appears, is not as fast as sailing to windward. But who knows, maybe they had an issue with their head sail or weren't sailing for some other reason. But I had a really cracking sail. Back there you can see just about through the shrouds, just about there, a white blob. That is the Needles and the white cliffs on the south side of the Needles, on the south side of the island. And it's just been a spectacular day. So I'm going to go and put the kettle on and then decide if I'm going to inflate the dinghy and go ashore, because that's quite tempting. There's a beach over there I could go ashore, and there's a really nice walk along the top there out to Old Harry Rocks. I'm down below now, and you can see, according to the battery monitor, I have 88.3% in my bank of 300 amp hours usable. And I've been using the autopilot the whole way, all my instruments. I've had my AIS on, I've had everything on that I would normally sail with. And I started the sail this morning with 79%. So that is the benefit of having that wind generator back there spinning around. It looks really slow on the screen, that's because of the frame rate, but it's spinning around quite fast. And of course the solar panels that are out there as well, they've been generating lots of power on this nice sunny day. So I've ended my sail with more power in the bank than I started with. And I haven't really done any motoring, because I put the sails up immediately after leaving Newtown, and I put the engine on for about 5 minutes to get into here. Out of interest, if I go through, there we go, I've currently got 8.69 amps going into the bank. And I've still got instruments and things like that on, so if I switch all that stuff off, there'll be even more power going in. It's now Saturday morning, it's about 7:30. I've just been outside taking some pictures and some drone pics of the area because it's so beautiful out here. I wanted to try and catch sunset, so I was up here, sunrise. I wanted to catch sunrise, which was about 7 o'clock, but it was just a bit cloudy on the horizon, so I couldn't quite get the sun popping over the horizon. There we go, Studland Bay at dawn. And if I keep scrolling left, you'll have a beautiful bit of sunshine. I did get some video and some pictures of Old Harry, but it's a beautiful day. Unfortunately, I've got to go quite early because of the way the tides work. I've got to get back in through Hurst Narrows into the Solent before the tide turns, because it's a very big spring tide this weekend. So I'm going to have to make a move. Time to start the engine and then put the kettle on and have a bit of a slow motor until the wind fills in, which it is due to do at some point later today. This is a bit of a result. The wind has just picked up, so you can see the bay behind me. I've gone about 10 minutes of motoring, had a little chat with some friends on a Contessa that is just over there. I took a photograph of them when they were leaving earlier, and then they had to turn back because they got something around their prop, but they're underway again. But as you can see, wind's picked up, pulled the main up, pulled the genoa out, and it is a beautiful breeze to get sailing. They're a little far off. Those are my friends on a Contessa 32 called Creak over there. They also have a YouTube sailing Creak, I think. Can't remember now. Lovely couple. If you do a Google or if you do a search on YouTube for Contessa 32, I'm sure their channel will come up. I've been so lucky with the weather this weekend. It is absolutely stunning. I've got a nice 10 knots apparent, so it's probably about 6 to 8 knots true. And the boat's going great. Doing a nice easy 6.5 to 7 knots. It is not too shabby. We're going that way into the sun, which makes spotting lobster pots very difficult. I think this is the best seat in the house, up here at the bow when you're on your own. Just perched on the pulpit like that, watching the waves go by. On a day like today, it's pretty hard to beat, if I'm honest. If you think this looks cool and feels cool, you're absolutely right. This is pretty spectacular sailing. Cold, because we are in England, but not bad at all. Well, the wind's dropped off a little bit now, but I'm just closing in on the kind of North Passage coming up to the Solent. If I scroll you around this way, there's the Needles over there in the distance. I have just rigged the spinnaker lines because I'm kind of hoping, a few clouds behind, not sure about that. I'm kind of hoping that once I get into the Solent, the angle of wind is going to allow me to pop my asymmetric up, which I haven't played with a huge amount, so we'll see if that will work once I'm inside the Solent. There is Hurst Castle. We're just going through the entrance now. A short while ago I was doing 11 knots over the ground because there's so much tide here. We're doing 7 through the water and 11 over the ground, so that shows what a tidal gate it is coming through this little entrance, which is quite narrow. I mean, you do get big ships through here. In fact, there comes a coaster right now. So I'm kind of hoping I'm going to be able to bear away in a minute, see if I can get my asymmetric flying. You can kind of see the messy, turbulent water as it's swirling around the headland here, around Hurst Castle, and then up ahead, just over there, you can see there's almost like a line in the water where it suddenly becomes calm again. And we're about to go into that calm water. And here comes that coaster. Gonna squeeze by. No issues. Well, my friends, this is the way sailing works. You see, you get your spinnaker lines on, then you get your spinnaker all sorted, ready to go. There it is. And the wind goes forward, and I can no longer fly the kite. So slightly annoying because I was really looking forward to playing with my asymmetric, but I'm going to leave it bagged up on deck for a minute just to see if the wind backs, but realistically I think it's unlikely. I kind of hoped it would be a nice angle, but we shall see. That's sailing for you. I'm not complaining. Even if I can't fly the kite, there's nice wind, there's flat seas. Going past Yarmouth at the moment, pretty quickly because I've got about 3 knots of tide now pushing me along on top of my kind of 6 knots-ish, so maybe 7 knots of boat speed. Catching up with this guy, whatever he is. Overtaken a lot of boats today. I've not really been sailing at full speed, but she's going really nicely. And went for that nice big kites. I don't know who that bloke is, but it's nice to have a little play. The wind's about 70 degrees off the bow at the moment, so it's a little bit on the tight side. For this, it's a kind of an A2 spinnaker, and it's going well. Flying now, wind's picked up a bit, it's getting a little bit tight for this kite, but I can always bear away a bit. And we are going really nicely now. Perfect. Over there we have a somewhat sunny Cowes. I have had to bear away a bit because I'm just going into the bottom end of Southampton water. So I've eased the sheets on the kite. I've also eased the tack line a little bit as well, just to help the top leading edge of the sail to curl round forward a little bit more. And it's just about flying in the breeze, okay. It's a bit light at times, but pretty soon I'm going to have to drop it. Now I'll try and record the dropping so you can see if I get it wet or not. Hopefully I'll get it down dry, and then it's going to be basically a dead down wind trip up the Southampton water to the entrance to Hamble River. So I'm going to have to probably do that under engine because there's not a lot of wind now, 7 knots apparently. So we'll see how we go. But I've had a pretty good run with the kite. I didn't think I was going to get it up at one point, so I'm really pleased that the wind angle allowed me to launch it. Obviously, now in the central Solent, it's a Saturday morning, it's nice weather, very busy, lots of sailboats out, lots of motorboats out, lots of wash. There's some big ships coming through. There's a container ship coming up to Cowes that will turn right and go past me in a bit, so I probably want to get the kite down before he gets too close as well, so I've got plenty of space. And big Latin ribs, nice day for that, pretty flat out here. Well, here we are, entrance to the River Hamble. It's like the Hamble Scramble in reverse because it's Saturday morning and there's just been a crazy amount of boats all rushing to get out. Big container ship coming up behind me. Lots of probably racing going on this weekend. Lots of race boats were going out to their start lines. Lots of cruisers going out as well to enjoy the weather. Kind of last gasp of summer, early autumn. And that pretty much brings us to the end of the video. So I won't bore you with going all the way up the river. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little trip over to Studland Bay, Newtown to Studland Bay, and then back to the Hamble. It's been a bit of fun for me. I needed a bit of time away from the boatyard just to recharge my mental and physical batteries, and I'll be back to refitting boats on Monday. See you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.